alignment ain't that important. All this is doing is facilitating me moving my body. Some players stand like this for a fade. That club head, 2 or 3 degrees makes a difference. Okay, the problem is most people aren't sequencing, so they're doing something like this, and then they think this is important. But actually, you start moving. What's going through your mind when you do swing a golf club?
Usually nothing.
Just the golf shot. The target, the shot?
Well, I'm thinking, what I'm really trying to just get settled. I'm very focused on my target. And the range, I can play around with shot shapes. And I still can't hit a draw, but I can hit a fade at the range. No, I'll hit a fade now. That's a fade. Maybe a fade, but not striking remotely the right direction.
Are you aiming left as well?
I'm aiming a little bit left, probably not that much
And
left.
what are you aiming left with?
But aiming left a little. I'm thinking about bringing the club through there.
So that's going to give you curvature.
Yeah.
What about the face? Where's your face going to be pointing when you strike the ball? What would the intention be?
It's going to be probably slightly more. Oh, it's going to be open to my path.
But what's it going to be in relation to the target?
It's going to be open in connection to the.
Only to the path, yeah. But what's it going to be in relation to the target?
I haven't got that far.
Okay, right. Well, just 1 second before you hit this one, because there's no point in this one until you know. Okay, because otherwise you're just going to keep going around in circles.
Okay.
Because the first prerequisite for a fade is that your club face must be, absolute must be, close to that target when you strike the golf ball.
Close to that. Okay.
It has to be.
Okay.
Because the club face determines where the ball starts.
Okay.
And what you were talking about was path, which puts curvature on it. So what you were doing, you were swinging more and more left, which will have a minuscule effect potentially on the start line, but it's minuscule compared to the face. By swinging more left, you're loading it with more fade, but the ball's going to keep starting straight. What we needed to do was aim further left with the face, and the path then needs to be left of the face. There was a chance just by swinging further left, you would have pulled everything kind of a little bit, and the path will have some influence, but not that much on start line. So, first of all, Peter, we need to make sure that face. This is why most people lose distance with a fade, get too much launch and too much spin, and start double crossing it because they're not moving around the ball with the intention of starting it over here. We've got to have, first of all, an indication of what shape we want to hit, which is then going to reverse engineer back to where do I want this ball to start now with that shape, because that's going to influence how you stand to the ball. But if you stand to the ball every time, you've got to swing absolutely bang on to get that ball straight, and you're going to probably get a bit of curvature. So it's like, well, we'd rather know what curvature we're going to get and play for it. Just moving around the ball, just see what it's like. Trying to start the ball left, not trying to hit it at the target, because that.
Just start it left. No, just not think about the target at all. But you don't want to
Don't even think about it. Just think about shaping the ball.
Okay.
Okay. So if you play tennis a lot, right? You're trying to play a shot. Right. So, and you're probably trying to play a shot into an area of the court. So the target is the area of the court, and you are shaping the ball into that area. The aim small, miss small thing is kind of, don't really need to do that. That's probably just focuses you more on the target.
But my hips and shoulders are going to be pointing left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably miles left compared to where you are. Because remember, the path's going to be left of the face. Oops. It started in the right direction.
That's promising. Let's build small steps.
That's it, we started. So now you're opening the stance to accommodate the face left and facilitate a path left of the face. Well done.
That's pretty straight though.
Yeah, it didn't fade that much, but the prerequisite, the number one, that's all we're interested in, is you managed to start it left. So what we just determined from that is the path wasn't left of the face.
Yeah, I think the difference to that one, all the other ones, I've been trying to manipulate the club face.
So all you've got to do now is get your path left of that club face that you just hit. So the path's matching the face, that's all. So those two lines at the minute, that's the face, that's where the ball started. So we're reading the ball flight, and that's going to tell us what we need to change. So that's where the ball started, and it flew pretty straight, so the face and the path were together. If we start to move that path this way, you're going to get a fade that way. Brilliant. There we go. Proper fade. There you go again. Hold it there, now you're finishing, look where your body's facing, look where you've swung to. Much further left than you probably normally would be. There's your target and you're going this way, but your face is in the middle of those two.
Yeah. And
that brings the ball now, because the path over here brings the ball back, but now you've got all this room to play. Because you can shape it, you've got all that space, suddenly it's like a funnel. And you can send it down that channel and it's just going to fade back in. Sometimes it's not going to fade as much, sometimes more, but you've got a ball now that's moving back towards your target. You've not got a ball that's moving away from your target. And if you're not sure on a golf course, when you're comfortable playing a fade, you can always give yourself a bit more room. You can go and get a little bit further out to the left and bring it in. And then if you get a bit more fade, it might be perfect. You're giving yourself now room for manoeuvre. You're making your landing area bigger. Your face before was probably a fraction left of target. So you left yourself literally probably a couple of yards between where you were starting the ball and the actual target. So your path had to be just left, but so close to it that that's probably not even recognisable in a golf swing. It just feels straight.
Yeah.
Whereas this will definitely feel left of the face, and now you've got some attunement that's starting to take place. Then you can start to reduce it, and then we're going to go the other way, and we're going to play around with the spectrum of that.
But when in setup, if I'm looking to hit the fade, so now I think I'm
Does not matter.
pretty far left.
Where you
Should we be thinking anything about where my club face is at address?
normally the club face will start to point where you're looking, okay, if you allow it to. So it's like the same way that you would align your hand or a dart or perfect, a snooker cue. That's awesome. So look at that. So if you're throwing a ball underarm or overarm, let's say it's static, you're not looking at your hand once. You kind of know, the body knows where this is. The only time we would skew this is if I actually started to use my vision to try and line this up. I can't possibly be that precise. The proprioception there, being led by the visual, is skewed. But the proprioception, when I shift my visual to the target and allow my body awareness, using the kinesthetic side of things, and then what you're doing now, this essentially is becoming an extension of you. It's going to react with the body, as part of the body, as opposed to being something external that you're trying to control. Removing that necessity to get anal about the leading edge and where it's pointing and things like that.
So I can tell my finish position actually, that's a very different finish position, isn't it?
It's recognising your body movement, because it's the body that's really influencing the club head, because there's a chain of events taking place. It's not just thinking about where that club head is, it's impossible. It's travelling too fast and it's moving through such a range, you don't recognise it that way. If you throw a ball, you don't recognise it through how you're organising this. There's a load of movement taking place before you throw the ball that's allowing you to align the hand. So there's a lot of movement taking place with the body that's aligning the face. So it's actually something that's starting way earlier through the body.
It's
And that's what
interesting.
we're going to
It's
explore.
interesting. I'm just trying to translate this into one of our part threes. If the 150 is where the flag is, because that's where my sort of tight fades have been going. It made me so far left.
Yeah, you're not really. You just think you are.
I mean, I'm thinking about my part three. I'm aiming to the left.
Aiming with what?
I'm aiming to the left of the bunkers.
Aiming with what?
Well, just aiming in terms of my target. I'm setting up.
What part of your body would be aiming left?
Well, at the moment I'm lining up in my own mind where the bush at the end there. I'm aiming, which is what 30 yards to the left of where my ball's ending up.
Yeah.
I just would never think have to be that far.
Yeah. Now the ball's not going on this line, and that's not where you're swinging.
No.
If you love the coaching and want to experience the effects of the training that you see with our pupils, you can purchase the GRFI system yourself by following the link in the video description. You'll get all the equipment and a 2-hour download covering all the fundamentals, exploring your movement and how you can use the ground and create those all-important ground reaction forces and transfer them through to clubhead speed and experience the gains that you're seeing in the videos. Because you're swinging on an arc. That club's over here. So you're here, and your club's over here. That's very different, that direction, to where I am. Because I'm further away. I'm obviously going to be miles further left in relation to this.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is an art. If I shift just a little bit, that now is going to the right. Okay, so this is very sensitive now, this path, to where I'm going with my body. This alignment ain't that important. All this is doing is facilitating me moving my body. Think of any other sport, okay? Your feet are reacting to the intention of the shot. What are you thinking about if you're going to go and play a tennis shot? You think about the shot and the feet move to allow you to play it, okay? There's no alignment taking place, it's just the body's moving to facilitate this, because what's going to influence where the ball goes is the path and the racket and the rotation of it. So it's the same with the club. So what we're actually doing here, it all works back. Some players stand like this for a fade. Some players, yeah, Matt Kuchar stands like that and fades the ball.
Blimey.
Okay, yeah, but that's not. You see, these don't really have that much influence. I mean, that club head, 2 or 3 degrees makes a difference. That's going miles right, that's going miles left. My feet haven't even moved, or they could be here, they could be there. What these are influencing is my pelvis. They're influencing hip and pelvis movement. They're making it harder or easier to rotate, and also to sequence, to direct the sequence where I want it to go. So if I want to swing left, throw or kick or hit, your body's going to move around to facilitate this movement to swing the club left. Look where I am in relation to where the club's going. I'm here. If you start putting lines on me, I'm over here. What's the difference between me being here and being here at address and being here? You're going to be over here somewhere in impact, but the club, that's still going that way if you're swinging it decent. Okay, the problem is most people aren't sequencing, and so they're doing something like this, and then they think this is important. But actually, you start moving more functionally and rotating, this thing is getting thrown from the pivot, and now this is swinging out. There's a shitload going on here. There's a path that is like reacting to the body, and there's a club face that's rotating, and guess what it is? It's reacting to your body. All you did was set up to move the body, and all this is taking place at the end of the chain. Now, of course, if I stand like this, that's going to make it more difficult, but I can still fade it. It's just going to be harder. This makes it easier, and I can probably get more distance. That's the only reason for standing over here. I can still fade it there. There's a load of players at your club who'll stand like this and come over the top and play off and do that. Loads of guys.
I've been there myself.
Yeah, and they get it round because it's facing path. But once you start to move around to facilitate the function of it, suddenly you can start to explore your body's movement capability more and start to action that potential. But you've got to recognise first of all what it relates to. Now what you're starting to recognise is
Thought you'd go, but you didn't, so I'm sitting here. Thought I heard my phone ring.